Hello and welcome back to Drive Driver Driven. My name is Humble and you find me in our new acquisition. This is the car that I teased a little bit ago. This is the new to me 2018 Porsche 911 GT3. This particular car is a Carrera white. It's sort of a white with a pearl to that white coat. It was optioned with PCCBs, which is the Porsche ceramic brakes, an Alcantara interior, carbon fiber trim, and of course the 918 bucket seats. It was also optioned with the larger fuel tank, which is whatever, about 23.5 gallons. A little pain at the pump, but it also means you can go a little bit further if you're out for a cruise without having to fill up again. Well, it had about 22,000 miles on it when I picked it up for the first time, and it's gotten over 2,000 miles since then, so we just ticked over 24,000 miles. Most of that was done in the first month or two of ownership. Now, the reason I picked up this car is a little bit different from most. I have always wanted a Porsche. I've raced Porsche analogs previously, and by that I mean VW Beetles. I've had a number of hill climb and autocross special Beetles. I have a history with Porsche groups and other Porsche cars. For example, I used to run with Porsche Group for autocross way back when, more than 20 years ago now. I myself have championed in a 2007 Cayman S. I was running that car in, I think it was B stock at the time. So yeah, I've always wanted to have a Porsche in my stable. I just always thought they were sort of out of reach. In particular, I was looking for a 997, a 997.2, either a manual or a PDK, because that was really what my budget was at the time. I didn't really want to spend much more than that, and those cars could be had for between 60 and 80,000 depending on condition. I wasn't looking for a pristine car or a concourse car. I wanted a driver. I wanted one that was maybe a little rough around the edges, or one that was in need of some maintenance. A, because it would make good content, and B, it would be a little bit cheaper, and I can do the work on those cars myself. That's really kind of the last generation that you're able to work on the car in the driveway. In my hunt for a 997, well, I happened to break down in the Ultima, of all things. I don't know if I've mentioned on channel before, but basically my anti-gravity battery took a dump. The internal BMS in the battery died, and it left me stranded at a friend's dealership where this particular white 911 GT3 was up for consignment. And my friend, like the good dealership owner and car salesman that he is, said, "What'll it take you to get you into this 911 today?" And joking around, I made him a lowball offer, one that no one would reasonably take at the time, mainly because these cars were going for 220, 230, thereabouts still at the time. The markup was crazy. Even being 4 years old, it was still going for, you know, 50K, 40K over its MSRP. And even though this one was fairly well optioned, it was missing a front axle lift. So, you know, I lowballed him. I laughed. I said 180, ha ha ha, he'll never take it. And, well, my friend says, hang on, I'll call him. Fast forward a bit, and it turns out that, well, he's a friend of a friend, also a member of some other driving groups that I'm in, and he had just taken delivery of a 992, so he needed some cash on hand to pay for that car, and he was willing to, I say take a hit, it was still about what the car was MSRP, so realistically he didn't really lose any money. And we both think the market was headed that direction anyway, so he was comfortable selling the car for that price, and I couldn't say no, having made a lowball offer, and he accepted, so we closed the deal. That's sort of how I ended up with this car in my hands. Again, it was quite a bit higher, about 100K more than I was looking to spend, but I was able to get a 991.2. Not only one that I didn't think I'd ever get, but I didn't think I'd be able to have one of these for years even. I don't mind paying a little bit more for something that's this capable. So I come at this car with kind of a crazy collection of cars already. On the slow end, I have the Honda EP3, the Civic Si. I have the GBS Zero, which is basically a Lotus 7. And of course, on the top end, I have the Ultima RS. This Porsche sort of fills that gap in the power to weight ratio between the Lotus 7, the GBS Zero, and the Ultima RS. I like this car particularly because it's slower and more comfortable than the Ultima. And it's kind of crazy to call a GT3 slow, but realistically what it is it's more comfortable. It has a stereo that, well, you can hear. When you're not on a racetrack, it's happy just going slow in traffic and puttering around. But when you want to drop a few gears and throw it through some corners, it's perfectly happy to do that. And then if you take it to a racetrack, that's where it really shines. So it's a slightly uncomfortable all-arounder. I have commuted it back and forth to work. I've driven it tons through the mountains on the roads like these, and I've loved every minute of it. It's such a wonderful, wonderful car. So now, why don't we take it for a spin and see how she does.